Did Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, actually corrupt the youth of Athens? Or was he simply challenging them to think for themselves? This inquiry has sparked countless debates over centuries. Socrates, a towering figure in the realm of philosophy, has always been a subject of controversy. His profound teachings have shaped our world, but the question remains, did he enlighten or lead astray? Join us as we delve into the life and philosophies of Socrates. Born in 469 BC in Athens, Greece, Socrates lived in a time of great change and intellectual growth. An era that would later be christened as the Golden Age of Athens. The city was bustling with cultural and intellectual advancements, and Socrates was right in the heart of it. Born to a stonemason father, Sophroniscus, and a midwife mother, Phanerete, Socrates' early life was relatively ordinary. Despite the lack of extensive records, we can piece together a picture of his early years. His family belonged to the middle class of Athenian society known as the demi, which afforded him a basic education. This education would have covered music, gymnastics, and grammar, with a primary focus on recitation and writing. The young Socrates, with his inquisitive mind, would have thrived in this environment, yet he was not destined for a life of academia. Instead, following in his father's footsteps, Socrates became a stonemason. His work, however, was far from ordinary. Legend has it that he sculpted statues of the three Graces, which stood by the Acropolis until the 2nd century AD. Socrates' career as a stonemason was short-lived. The bustling streets of Athens, teeming with philosophers, poets, and politicians, fired up his intellectual curiosity. It was this curiosity that led him to question the world around him, a trait that would later define his philosophical approach. At the same time, Socrates served as a hoplite, a heavily armed foot soldier, in the Athenian military. His bravery during the Peloponnesian War, particularly in the battles of Potidaea, Delium, and Amphipolis, is well documented. Yet, the battlefield was not where Socrates wanted to make his mark. His mind was elsewhere, drawn to the realm of ideas and thoughts, to the world of philosophy. Socrates, however, was not satisfied with his life and sought greater understanding, turning his focus to philosophy. His relentless quest for knowledge and understanding would eventually shape the course of Western philosophical thought. But that's a story for another scene. For now, we leave Socrates at the cusp of his philosophical journey, a stonemason turned soldier, about to become a philosopher. As Socrates delved into philosophy, he developed a method of inquiry known today as the Socratic method. This technique, still used in classrooms and courtrooms alike, is a form of cooperative argumentative dialogue. It's meant to stimulate critical thinking and to draw out ideas and underlying presumptions. Socrates used this method to challenge the complacent, forcing individuals to examine their own beliefs. He'd pose a series of questions, leading his interlocutor to a contradiction, thereby proving the fallacy of the initial assumption. This was a revolutionary approach at a time when people were expected to accept things at face value. One of Socrates' most profound philosophical thoughts was his belief in the immortality of the soul. He posited that the soul existed before birth and would continue to exist after death. This belief was a cornerstone of his philosophy, and influenced his views on ethics and morality. Another influential teaching of Socrates was the concept of virtue is knowledge. He believed that no one knowingly does evil. If a person understands what is right, they will do it. Therefore, sin is the result of ignorance, not a lack of willpower or moral strength. This perspective upended traditional views on morality and responsibility, laying the groundwork for much of Western philosophy. Socrates also championed the notion of an unexamined life is not worth living. He placed supreme value on rational thought and self-reflection. To Socrates, a fulfilling life was one of constant questioning and introspection, a life dedicated to the pursuit of wisdom. However, Socrates' relentless questioning and non-traditional views often rubbed people the wrong way. His method of inquiry was seen as disruptive, his teachings controversial. He was viewed by many as an instigator, a disturber of the peace. His refusal to accept conventional wisdom and his constant probing of societal norms made him a contentious figure in Athenian society. But not everyone appreciated Socrates' probing questions and radical ideas. His approach to philosophy and his challenging of established norms would eventually lead him to a tragic end. But that's a story for another scene. Socrates' teachings stirred the pot in Athenian society, leading some to see him as a threat. His unconventional philosophies were not just topics of intellectual debate, but they were social disruptors that shook the very foundations of Athens. Socrates was a catalyst for change. He believed in questioning everything, even the most deeply ingrained societal norms and beliefs. His method, known as the Socratic method, involved relentless questioning to expose contradictions in one's beliefs. This approach was radical, and it challenged the status quo. It encouraged individuals to seek their own truths, rather than accepting societal norms blindly. Yet this approach was not welcomed by all. Socrates' relentless questioning and criticism of the Athenian way of life made him many enemies. He was seen as a corrupter of youth, leading young minds away from traditional values and societal constructs. Some even saw him as a threat to Athenian democracy, believing his teachings could lead to anarchy. The tension culminated in Socrates being put on trial in 399 BC. The charges were impiety and corrupting the youth. The trial of Socrates was a significant event, echoing the societal division his philosophies had caused. His trial was not just about his personal actions, but it was a trial of his ideas, his philosophy, and the change he represented. Socrates defended himself, standing by his beliefs until the end. He argued that his philosophies were not destructive but were a means to seek wisdom and virtue. But the jury was not swayed. In a closely contested verdict, Socrates was found guilty. The punishment for his perceived crimes was death. However, even in face of death, Socrates remained unflinching. He believed that a philosopher should not fear death, but should see it as the ultimate truth to be explored. And so, Socrates was sentenced to death, a martyr for his philosophical beliefs. His death marked the end of his life, but not the end of his influence. His teachings continue to provoke thought and challenge societal norms, making him a timeless figure in the realm of philosophy and beyond. Despite his controversial life and death, Socrates' philosophies continue to influence thinkers even today. Socrates never wrote down his teachings, yet his philosophies have endured the passage of time, leaving an indelible mark on human thought and civilization. Many of his ideas, passed down through the works of his students, particularly Plato, remain central to various fields of study like ethics, politics, and metaphysics. His Socratic method, a form of dialogue used to stimulate critical thinking and to expose the contradictions in one's beliefs, is still widely used in classrooms and law schools around the world. It laid the groundwork for the Western system of logical reasoning and the scientific method. The concept of Socratic irony, where one pretends to be ignorant in order to expose the ignorance of another, is a tool still wielded in debates and discussions. In the realm of ethics, Socrates' belief in the power of human reason and his assertion that virtue is knowledge and no one errs willingly have deeply influenced moral philosophy. His political ideas too have left a profound impact. His critique of Athenian democracy and his vision of an ideal state governed by philosopher kings, as detailed in Plato's Republic, have been topics of heated debates and discussions for over 2 millennia. Socrates' influence extends far beyond his immediate disciples like Plato and Xenophon. His ideas have shaped the philosophies of stalwarts like Aristotle, Descartes, and Kant. Even today, his life and teachings continue to inspire and provoke thought, his name synonymous with the love of wisdom. Yet Socrates was not just a philosopher. He was a gadfly, a social critic, a man unafraid to question traditional norms and beliefs. His relentless pursuit of truth, his unwavering commitment to his principles even in the face of death, have made him a symbol of intellectual courage and integrity. From Plato to modern-day philosophers, Socrates' influence remains undeniable. His legacy is a testament to the enduring power of ideas and the human capacity for critical thought. His philosophies, his method, his life, and his death all serve as a reminder of the transformative power of questioning and the pursuit of wisdom. So, was Socrates a brilliant philosopher or a threat to society? Or perhaps was he both? Let's delve into this question, a debate that has spanned across centuries. For many, Socrates is seen as the founding father of Western philosophy, a man who questioned everything and encouraged others to do the same. His Socratic method of questioning is still used as a pedagogical tool today, emphasizing the importance of critical thinking and self-examination. His philosophies laid the groundwork for future philosophers, his ideas continuing to shape our understanding of concepts such as justice, virtue, and knowledge. However, to the Athenian authorities of his time, Socrates was a dangerous influence. He was accused of corrupting the youth and not believing in the gods the city believed in. His relentless questioning of traditional beliefs and norms was seen as undermining the societal order. The Athenians feared that Socrates was destabilizing their society, leading them to sentence him to death. So was Socrates a threat? Perhaps to those in power his teachings were indeed threatening. They challenged the status quo and encouraged independent thought, which could potentially disrupt societal order. To those who feared change, Socrates was a menace. Yet it's hard to ignore the profound impact of his philosophies. His teachings have transcended time, influencing generations of thinkers and shaping the foundations of Western philosophy. The very fact that we're still discussing his ideas thousands of years later speaks to the significance of his work. The question of whether Socrates was a brilliant philosopher or a threat to society is not an either-or proposition. It's possible he was both, a brilliant mind who posed a threat to those who feared change and new ideas. His legacy is complex, a mixture of revolutionary thought and controversy. Socrates continues to provoke thought even thousands of years after his death. And that perhaps is the mark of a truly brilliant philosopher. One who continues to challenge us, encourage us to question our beliefs, and inspire us to seek truth and wisdom. So, who was Socrates really, and why does he still matter today? As we traverse the complex labyrinth of his life and philosophies, we find ourselves confronted with a figure of profound intellectual depth and societal resonance. Born in ancient Athens, Socrates spent his life questioning the status quo, his relentless pursuit of wisdom setting him apart as a unique entity in history. From his early life to his final moments, he embodied a spirit of relentless inquiry. His method of questioning, the Socratic method, continues to be a cornerstone of modern pedagogy, demonstrating his enduring influence on our educational systems. His philosophies, although never recorded by him, have been passed down through the ages, largely thanks to his students, Plato and Xenophon. His ideas on virtue, justice, and the pursuit of wisdom have shaped centuries of philosophical discourse, inspiring generations of thinkers to question, to challenge, to seek. His belief that an unexamined life is not worth living is a testament to his commitment to introspection and self-improvement. However, Socrates was not without controversy. His disruptive presence in Athenian society, his refusal to conform to traditional beliefs, and his tendency to question authority made him a contentious figure. To some, he was an enlightening force, pushing the boundaries of accepted knowledge and encouraging independent thought. To others, he was a dangerous influence, undermining societal norms and corrupting the minds of the youth. His trial and subsequent death sentence for impiety and corrupting the youth of Athens remain a powerful testament to his disruptive influence. Yet even in his final moments, Socrates stood by his principles, choosing death over renouncing his philosophical ideals. The legacy of Socrates is a rich tapestry of intellectual exploration and societal impact. His teachings continue to resonate in our classrooms, courtrooms, and societal structures. His life serves as a powerful reminder of the cost of free thought in a society resistant to change. In the end, whether you see Socrates as a brilliant mind or a dangerous influence, his impact on philosophy and society is beyond dispute. His life, his philosophies, and his legacy continue to provoke thought and spark debate centuries after his death. He remains a towering figure in the realm of philosophy, a testament to the enduring power of questioning, of seeking, of daring to think differently. Socrates once said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." This profound statement is a testament to his humility and relentless quest for knowledge. It's evident that Socrates was a man of great intellect, whose philosophies have shaped the course of human thought. Yet, his unconventional ways and relentless questioning of societal norms ultimately led to his downfall, making us question whether he was a brilliant philosopher or a threat to society. In reflecting upon his life, we see a man who was unafraid to challenge the status quo, and who encouraged others to think critically about their beliefs and actions. He was indeed a disruptor, but one could argue that it was this disruption that led to great advancements in philosophical thought. As we delve deeper into the annals of history, we see the enduring influence of Socrates. His philosophies continue to provoke thought, stimulate debate, and inspire intellectual curiosity. As we continue to seek wisdom and understanding, may we all keep the spirit of Socrates alive, forever questioning and ever curious.